Hello, class. Today we'll be looking at Chapter 9, and we're going to be talking about measurements. So, today we'll be looking at 9.1, measuring length in the metric system. So, when we talk about measuring length in the metric system, we'll be talking about meters, and we'll be talking about English system, which is going to be feet, and different things like that. So, our objectives today is to use dimensional analysis to change units of measurement, understand the use of metric prefixes, convert units within the metric system, use dimensional analysis to change to and from the metric system. So let's look at here. Let's look at the length. So when we're dealing with length in the metric system, we got the English system and we have the metric system. So we have 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. We have 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. We have 36 inches is equal to 1 yard. Then we have 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. So unit fraction contains different units with the value of unit is 1. The value of the units is 1. So here are some unit fractions. So we have 12 inches per 1 foot, or we got 1 foot per 12 inches. Also, we have 3 feet per 1 yard, or we have 1 yard per 3 feet. Then we have 5,280 feet per 1 mile, or 1 mile per 5,280 feet. So take a minute and start, and make sure you copy this. Now remember, you can always do what? Pause the video and copy this information down. Now, to discuss what dimensional analysis is, to convert a measurement to a different unit by multiplying by the unit fraction, or by the unit fractions, because you might have to do more than one, the given unit of measurement should appear in the denominator of the unit fraction so that the units can cancel upon multiplication. The unit measures that needs to be introduced should appear in the numerator of the fraction so that the unit will be retained after multiplication. So basically it's saying whatever you start with should be in the numerator, then when the thing that you're multiplying, the thing you start with should be in the denominator so you can cancel out the units and then have the numerator as the thing that you want to get. So let's look at an example. So we have 40 inches and we're trying to take it to feet. So take a minute and do that. So we have 40 inches. So we got 40 inches. All right. And I'll just put a 1 here. And it's times. Now we have 1 foot per 12 inches. So if we look, we see that our inches cancel because 1 is in the numerator, 1 is in the denominator. So we equal 40 over 12 feet. So make sure you got that. So now you want to make sure you reduce the fraction. So we know 4 goes into both of them. And we also know, so if 4 goes into both of them, we'll wind up giving what? 10 over 3. So this reduces to 10 over 3 feet. Or we could say what? 3 1/3 feet. Right? Because 3 goes into 10 3 times. 1 is left over, so it's 3 1/3. So you got this. Or you got this. And you got what you got at the beginning. So take a second and do the second problem. So we have 13,200 feet over 1 times. Now we have 1 square mile or 1 mile per what? 5,280 feet. So make sure you put this in the calculator. So when we put it in the calculator, first thing we notice that my feet cancel out and I end up with 2.5 miles. Make sure if you have any questions, you send me a message through Microsoft Teams or send me an email. So now commonly used units of linear measures in the metric system. So the base unit of linear measurements in the metric system is meter. So if we look, our base unit is here. So we got kilo, which means 1,000. We got hecto, which means 100. Then we got deca, our base is 1. Then we have deci, which is 0.1. Then we have centi, which is 0.01. Then we have milli, which is 0.001. So we got kilometer, hectometer, decameter, meter, decimeter, centimeter, and millimeter. And we have our symbols, which is km, hm, dam, m, dm, cm, and mm. So let's look how to convert from metric to metric. So if I'm going from, let's say if I'm trying to go and find, if I want to go from meters to kilometers, I would move the decimal place 3 places. Or you could say I'm doing what? Dividing by 10. If I'm going from kilometers to meters, I will move 3 places to the right, and it's the same as multiplying by 10. And of course, we're going to do examples of this. So let's look at this. So we got 504.7 meters. And we're trying to go to kilometers. So we're going to use this and we're going to move this 3 spots. So when we move it 3 spots, we're going to end up here. So we moved it 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 0.504 kilometers. When you go from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, the base number that you had should be smaller. When you go from a bigger number to a smaller number, the base number should be bigger. But the unit is smaller, right? So we have 27, all right, meters. So we know that we're moving 1, 2. So we get 2,700 centimeters. Now, a good way to remember this is go ahead and write everything out. K, H, dA, then your base, and what I'm going to just write is M. Then we have D, then we have C, then we have M, and I'm going to say MM, all right? So, understand what direction we move. We move from meters to centimeters, so we move 1, 2. So that's why we have two different, that's why we have two circles up. Two zeros up there. So it'll be 2,700 centimeters. If you write it like this on your paper, you'll never get the answer wrong if you move the right direction. Make sure if you're confused about something, you ask me about it. So now we're going to go from English to metric and metric to English. So we'll look at some problems. So 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. 1 foot is equal to 30.48 centimeters. 1 yard is approximately 0.9 meters. 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers or kilometers. Whatever your preference is to say it. So take a minute and write this stuff down. Now remember, these are approximates. So you got 2 that are approximates. So that means the numbers are what? Rounded. Now, sometimes you won't use that. You'll just use, these conversions right here because these are what? Your exact. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's look at an example of this one. So here, let's look. So we got 125 miles. And I'm going to just put that there. Now we need to look at what we got. So we had 1.6 kilometers or kilometers per what? 1 mile. Now we see that our miles do what? Cancel. So now we're in just kilometers. So when we multiply the 2, we get 200 kilometers. Or kilometers, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to straighten this M up and make sure you can tell it's an M. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing for this one. Now, the first thing we want to look at, we got to remember that we don't have a conversion from millimeters to inches, but we do have it from centimeters to inches. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and do what? Convert this to centimeters. So we're going to just move the decimal place 1 spot. And this would be 2680 centimeters. Now, we'll use our conversion, which we know in 1 inch, there are 2.454 centimeters. And we know that the centimeters do what? They go away. And therefore, it's roughly, so approximately, 1,055 inches. So that's roughly, that's going to be what? Rounded. So make sure in this section you go over it so that you won't get behind. Because the next section, you'll be doing basically the same thing, but you'll be using square units. So make sure you go through this video a couple times to kind of make sure you understand what you're doing.